We are what our history makes us, even though at times we might not be aware of that history. Hello everybody, my name is Timothy and I want to welcome you to another video in the China History series at Learn Penang Hokkien YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the Boxer Rebellion. Okay, the Boxer Rebellion, it happened 125 years ago, and I believe for many of us, it doesn't register. What is it about this Boxer Rebellion? Boxer Rebellion. So this is why I'm creating this series to make it easy for people of present day to understand the past, and I want to tell it in a way that is easy for you to get the information without having to read through all of that. And from this video onwards, I'm going to try out a different format. As you know, in past videos, I have the China podcast inserted into this whole video, and it may work, but I am thinking of making each video shorter. So going forward, the China podcast will be a series of videos on its own. So going forward, you can get to watch the China podcast as its own playlist of videos, while the China history videos will be its own different series. And on top of that, I will also be creating a new series of videos called History in Story Form. So in the series History in Story Form, I will tell the history mostly about China or as it pertains to Malaysia and Singapore, but I'm using a story to tell history. It may be interesting. We'll see how it works. And so for today, we are going to tackle the Boxer Rebellion, which I would say is the final major event in Qing Dynasty history before the Qing Dynasty collapsed. So this happened between 1899. I can say almost the final year of the 19th century, and then it continues over until the Boxer Protocol on 1901. So in a way, you can say it straddles the entrance to the 20th century. And unfortunately, this is how China ushered in the 20th century. And China in the beginning of the 20th century was still under the Qing Dynasty. But this is an entirely different Qing Dynasty from what it was in the 17th century when the Manchu established it. At that time, the Manchus were aggressive and they were able to conquer the entire country. But by the 20th century, what we have is an empire in tatters. Different foreign forces keep on gnawing at the empire, taking away chunks of it and establishing foreign legations or foreign territories within China itself. And also, it was a time when the Chinese people were departing China in droves. From Guangdong province, a lot of people are going off to find a new life in places like Hawaii, California, Peru, as well as the Malay Peninsula. And they are joined by also people, coolies from the Hokkien province, the Teochews, the Hakkas, and so on. There's so much in China's history which I would like to share with you as I continue my research, but we are going to approach it step by step so that you won't get overwhelmed, and also it will be easy for me to explain every part of it. So let's return to the Boxer Rebellion. I'm going to take you step by step, explain to you who are the Boxers, what did they do, and what is the consequence of their action. Okay, so let's get moving. Who are the Boxers? The Boxers are members of a secret society called Yi He Quan, or Society of Righteous and Harmonious Feast. So this secret society is quite commonplace all over China. There are secret society, and we will see in future, I may do videos on secret society such as the Hai San and Gihin that we are more familiar with here in the Malaysian context. But this Yi He Quan is a secret society in northern China centering around Shantung, and it drew its members from mostly rural youths around the area who has been feeling the pressure of hardship living under the Qing imperial government. At that time, the government is in tatters, and so there's massive corruption as well as massive high taxes. So this government, these people, the members of this particular secret society, is directing their anger not at the government itself, but rather as what they deem as oppressors. And in their mind and in their eyes, the oppressors are the foreigners, in particular the Christian missionaries and Christian converts. So in a way, it's a xenophobic reaction to their own hardship, and this is what we are come up from this particular secret society. The name Boxer itself is an English term applied to them, because at that time the Westerners simply called these performers of this secret society. This is not just a secret society, this is a martial arts secret society. So this martial arts secret society is called Chinese Boxers. So that's why the whole rebellion is called the Boxers Rebellion. Who was their leader? As with every movement, it has to have a leader. And in the case of this Yi He Quan, the leader is someone by the name of Chao Fu-tian. Chao Fu-tian is a charismatic leader who, for some reason, convinced his followers that he has divine powers. And so he convinced the people, his followers who follow him into this secret society, that by performing rites and rituals of this society, they would be able to gain supernatural powers, that even they can dispel bullets. And so they were somehow brainwashed into thinking that they can fight against the Western oppressors. Yes, it is a time when foreigners, different nationalities, were encroaching into China and taking up Chinese territories, and this is their reaction, that they want to push these foreigners out. And under this Chao Fu-tian, they are going to do something about it. And first of all, they are going to focus their attention on, well, the easiest target, which are the Christian missionaries and Christian converts. Where was their base? Chao Fu-tian chose as his base an old temple in Tianjin, and that temple is still standing to this day. So he chose this old temple as the place where he performed rites and rituals that somehow convinced his followers that he has supernatural powers, and if they perform the same rites and rituals, they too would be embodied with these supernatural powers. So among the rites that they perform would be to burn charms, or as we call in Hokkien, hu, and then to drink the ashes of those charms mixed with wine. And by doing that and other related rites and rituals, they believe that they would gain these supernatural powers in their proponents of martial arts, their particular form of martial arts. Today, as I mentioned, this particular old temple is still standing and is called the Li Zhi Tang Museum, or Memorial Hall of the Boxer Uprising. And this is the only museum in China that provides interpretation of the Boxer Rebellion. What did the Boxers do? The Boxers believed, with a grain of truth, that foreigners were exploiting China, taking up its resources, robbing the empire. And what was their response to that? Firstly, they saw that their government itself, the Qing Dynasty government, is totally weak and cannot respond to the foreigners, because the Qing Dynasty government has already shown that it is defeated again and again at the Opium War, which I will cover in a separate video one day, that they are unable to resist the foreigners and are giving away concession to different countries, Western countries, as well as even Japan, which is to them a huge humiliation. So what did they do? They start to burn foreign properties. Foreign properties such as the railroad built by the Westerners, which to them is a way to rob their country. They start to burn any foreign properties, and then they added to that, they start to burn churches. And this got the Westerners even more agitated and nervous, because after that they started to murder Christian missionaries and Christian converts. So it's not just with the destroying of properties, they then start to target people and start to kill people. And that is what they have been doing, and it get all the foreigners in China to be very nervous, but are trying to find a way to respond to this. What was the Qing government's reaction? The Qing government, under the Empress Dowager Cixi, was in a dilemma to support them or not to support them. The problem is that these rebels were supportive of the Qing Dynasty government. Their motto was uphold the Qing, destroy the foreigners. So they are doing something which the Qing Dynasty government were incapable of doing. And so it was a difficult period for the Qing Dynasty government whether to support or not to support these Boxer rebels. The Qing Dynasty government was initially ambivalent, unsure whether or not to support the Boxer rebels. However, after consulting with her ministers, and was told by her ministers that the country at large, the rural people, the peasants, were all very supportive of what the Boxer rebels were doing, the Empress Dowager decided to throw her support behind the rebels, and this proved to be a costly mistake for the Qing government. For some strange reason, the Qing government and the Boxer rebels were so out of touch with reality, they thought that their sword and their spears could withstand and could fight against modern Western ammunition. What caused the foreigners to react? Located to the immediate east of Tiananmen Square in Beijing is the Peking Foreign Legation Quarters. So this foreign legation quarters is something like the embassy precinct in present day times. It was established after the Second Opium War, another concession from China, that the diplomats of different countries have a place to live and almost make it their own soil within China. So this foreign legation quarters is once again another embarrassment to the Qing Dynasty government. And during this Boxer rebellion, with all the anti-foreigner sentiment and anti-Christian sentiment, all the foreigners, about 900 soldiers, mariners, artists, diplomats, all rush into this foreign legation quarters to seek refuge, as well as the Christians as well. They all came into this area to seek refuge from the uprising that is being caused by the Boxer rebels. And the Boxer rebels then held siege of the foreign legation quarters for 55 days. How did foreign forces respond to this siege? In response to this siege of the foreign legation in Beijing, 8 nations formed an alliance to oust the Boxers. The 8 nations were United States, Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Austria and Hungary, Russia, and Japan. All of them sent about 400 troops to Beijing. And in this huge turbulent period, even the Empress Dowager had to flee Beijing, and she lived in exile in Shaanxi until 1902. And the foreign troops massacred a lot of these Boxers. The Boxers, rebels, they thought that they could fight the foreigners using spears and sword, and they thought that they were impervious to bullets. They were sadly wrong and mistaken. They were shot dead by the dozens, by the hundreds. And after that, the foreign troops continued their massacre across northern part of China, pillaging and burning down village after village. So a lot of people died as a result of this Boxer rebellion. It was a case of great naivete and how out of touch a nation has become, a nation that used to be so mighty and so sure of itself could be brought to its knees. What was the result of the Boxer rebellion? The Qing Dynasty government supported the Boxer rebels and paid dearly for it. So after the unrest caused by the Boxer rebels was effectively quashed by the foreign governments, they signed the Boxer Protocol. So the Boxer Protocol is once again a way to punish China and to seek retribution for all the damage that the Boxers have done, and also did not leave the Qing Dynasty government off scot-free. The Qing Dynasty government had to pay a retribution to the tune of 450 million pounds of silver, and this amount is more than the annual tax revenue of the Qing Dynasty government for the entire year. And they had to pay it back, I believe, in installment over 39-year period. So it continues on even beyond after the Qing Dynasty government eventually collapsed in the year 1911, in the 1911 uprising or revolution, which we will cover separately, of course. So this is the result or the final humiliation and embarrassment for the Qing Dynasty government, which had already surrendered over and over in the First Opium War, Second Opium War, to show that the government is totally ineffective. And as a result of that, it has created a diaspora of Chinese people, particularly those from southern China who were having a chance to flee, who fled and populated even North America, South America, and of course Southeast Asia. And the conclusion? So my dear friends, what I have shared with you with regards to the Boxer Rebellion is just a tip of the iceberg, but I hope that this is sufficient to provide you an understanding of this particular portion of China history as it pertains to the history of ourselves here in Malaysia and Singapore. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, what we are today is the result of what was history in the past. And this Boxer rebellion, as a result, created a chain of reaction. What follows was the 1911 revolution that brought an end to the Qing Dynasty government. We will cover that separately. But today, I'm offering you this video, and also I will be offering you the China podcast in a separate video. And on top of that, there's a new series called History in Story Form. So that one too, I hope you will enjoy watching it, and all three together provides you an idea about the Boxer Rebellion. So my dear friends, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope it has been educational to you as I offer you a glimpse into Chinese history. I hope that through my explanation, you have a better idea of the Boxer Rebellion and how it fits into Chinese history. And if you enjoy videos like this, as well as my other series of videos, please don't forget to subscribe to the Learn Penang Hokkien YouTube channel. There are so many videos which I'm going to produce, not only to tell you about history, but also to teach you about Penang Hokkien, which is the whole purpose that I started that channel. By explaining to you the history of China, I hope that will help you understand why it is so important for our local identity to preserve Penang Hokkien, for it fits into our entire Chinese identity. So once again, I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again in my next video, as well as in the China podcast series of videos and the history in story form series of videos. Until we meet again, 感謝盧姐姐。